Hey there, this is Alex Helisek with Breezeway Productions, and we're coming to you from the SLO International Film Festival. That's right, the San Luis Obispo International Film Festival, celebrating its 25th year. And this year, they're opening the film festival with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, featuring Catherine Ross. So we're going to be talking with some of the filmmakers that were in this year's festival, and we hope you enjoy the interviews. Stay tuned.
Zachary Stauffer.
Nice to meet you, Zach. Tell me a little bit about the film that you have accepted into this year's festival.
The film we have here is called Who Killed Lt Van Dorn. It's a feature documentary about a 2014 Navy helicopter crash. Wes Van Dorn was the pilot of that helicopter, and the film basically follows the people closest to that accident, the widow, survivor, a mechanic that worked on it, and really asks questions about what caused it to happen. But then pulling back from there, what did the Navy know about problems that led to the accident? What was it doing about it? And it really follows that little microcosm of that helicopter up to the highest levels of the Pentagon and Congress.
How has your tour been so far with this film? Is this the beginning of your tour, one of the first festivals, or have you been to other places so far?
We've been to other places so far. I'd say we're probably about the middle. We'll be at this certainly for the rest of 2019. We premiered at the Mill Valley Film Festival in October, won an audience award there, and then did a couple other events between then and now, and we have a dense cluster of festivals this spring, so that's really great.
Congratulations on a successful tour.
William Dickerson.
Hey Will, good to see you. Thanks for coming on the show today. Tell us a little bit about your film that was accepted this year.
Yeah, well, it's called No Alternative, and it takes place in the early 90s, in the grunge era. And it's about a brother and sister. Brother, Thomas, he's inspired by the suicide of Kurt Cobain, so much so that he wants to keep his music alive. So he buys a guitar, starts a grunge band, while at the same time his sister decides to reject the whole alternative music movement and become a gangster rapper. So, and we're unsure whether or not that's a sign of her brilliance or a sign of her mental collapse, because she's also a sufferer of borderline personality disorder. Yeah.
Where did the inspiration for this film come to you from?
Well, this is by far my most personal film. The sister character is based after my sister, who also suffered from borderline personality disorder, and she created this persona of Brita B in her own life as kind of a way to channel her emotions and get outside of the turbulence of her mental state. And I always thought she would make a really, really great character. So and the grunge band is also based on my grunge band in the early 90s. And the music in the film that the band plays, that music is my band's original music.
Colin Monda.
Hey Colin, good to see you. So tell us a little bit about the film that you have in the festival.
Yeah, the film is The Trouble with Wolves, and it's about the wolf reintroduction to Yellowstone in the lower 48 states and the social divide that really happened around that, as well as just looking at the beauty and the complexity of the animal, all sides of it.
What inspired you to make that film about the wolves?
I get this question a lot in the Q&As. The very last thing in the credits is a dedication to the Alaskan Malamute that I grew up with as a kid, which to me was pretty close to a wolf. She would howl in the backyard when sirens went by, and that was my starting point, my entry into thinking about the animal, and then much later in life started to see the environmental issues going on around with wolves and the possibility that they were endangered, they were being slaughtered, it seemed like, and that they might be wiped out again, and it just was this whole foray into a very interesting, complicated topic.
Sure. Speaking with
Johnny Gange, Norton Pillsbury.
Lovely to meet you guys. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the film that you have in the festival?
It's called More Milk. It's about a western town where everyone drinks milk, and the cows go missing, causing great pandemonium. And people go out and search the cows and have adventures.
What's it like to be in a city with a bunch of wild cows that run amok?
It's just it's a wild movie. Yeah.
Nice. And where are you screening, or what time are you screening at the festival?
We just did.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was your inspiration for the film and why you ended up creating it?
The inspiration came from my daughter who wanted milk in the middle of the night, and I thought that was funny, so we turned it into a Western. But why we created it is I run an organization called Adventure Club SLO. We work with people with special needs, and we make movies with them almost every year. And so that was the seed for us to make our movie that turned out to be a lot of fun. They all joined in and helped with characters and story development. It was a lot of fun.
Anything you'd like to add to the film, the process, and what was your role on the film?
Well, I was the cinematographer and the editor and special effects, and so we had a great time making people fly through the air and all kinds of things.
What did you shoot the film on?
We used Final Cut Pro with Canon cameras.
Yeah, we use some Canon 70Ds.
Beautiful. We're shooting on a Canon right now, so you guys know good cameras. Speaking with
David Bradstreet.
Tina Love.
George Quirin.
Nice to meet you guys. Tell us a little bit about your film that's this year's accepted film.
All right, it's called The Romance and Reaping of Ribbon Rock, and it's the trials and tribulations of the McCormick family. Stanley McCormick developed schizophrenia. He was the son of the inventor of the McCormick Reaper, the first thing that revolutionized harvesting. And as the son of a very wealthy man, when he developed schizophrenia, it became kind of a national story when his wife sued his siblings over his mental health care in 1929. So it kind of revolves around this custody case of Stanley McCormick, who lives on an 86-acre estate in Montecito.
And how about you, gentlemen? What were your roles on the film?
Writer, producer on it. Actor, Dr. Kempf.
Dr. Kempf. Pleasure to meet all of you guys.
I was the director and the editor.
Okay. What was your inspiration to make this film?
The man who lives in what was Stanley McCormick's movie theater hired me to do it because the estate still exists in Montecito, and there are multiple houses that are still there, and this house is owned by the producer, and it was his movie theater where he would watch his favorite movie called The Romance of the Reaper, about his father inventing the McCormick Reaper.
Wow.
So we got to film on the property.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to make the film?
We started in the fall, and we did some shots there, and then we picked up on another time, like probably over a year, on and off. It wasn't like a steady shoot. It was like we do a little bit of shooting, and then we take a break, and then we do some reenactments on another time, and yeah. And then the editing process took a few months, on and off, between other work. So.
What was the most exciting experience you had with your character?
Coming to the film festivals.
Speaking with
Donella Trammell.
Tiago Dadot.
Nice to meet you guys. Tell us a little about your film that's here this year.
Well, we have a film called Duke, and it's about a nonverbal autistic 17-year-old boy, and just the dynamics of the family, the siblings, mother, father, and just how it is to raise an autistic child that's nonverbal, and has a really amazing plot line. Tiago?
How do you feel about it?
It's a very important subject, and Duke really teaches about so many things. Just the fact that you already told about.
Yeah, about the family, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a non-verbal autistic teenager who never really spoke or communicated anyway, and suddenly he started doing and changed everybody's life. So that's
how he started to communicate was what inspired the film is that he started typing on an iPad. And literally the depth and the eloquency of his speech and what he wrote was mind-blowing, because all he ever communicated was grunting or moaning or hitting. And all of a sudden there was this letter found, dear teachers and staff, my name is Duke Rubidoux, and I'd like to reintroduce myself. I have real thoughts, I have real opinions, and I want to be respected. And it's like, where'd this come from? So he had all of it retained, but no way to communicate until an iPad.